Black Panther is the best Marvel Universe movie, period. Let's start the review. Now I know claiming that this is Marvel's best movie yet is a bold claim, but I'm going to give you some reasons why I felt that after watching this movie. I also took the time to look at some of the criticisms that have been levied against this film, and I'm going to talk about those as well. And I'm also going to, of course, talk about some of the aspects of African culture that I saw in this film. Alright, so one of the main reasons I think this movie is their best film is because all of the characters have depth. Like, there's just so much to be seen there, and you see the growth, you see various character arcs. It's not just the character arc of T'Challa, it's many characters in this film have a good character arc, and that's awesome. And even the ones that don't have a huge character arc still have a great presence to them. Now, what's the driving force behind so many of these character arcs? Well, that actually comes from the antagonist, Killmonger. Killmonger, easily the best antagonist a Marvel film has seen. Alright? He's got depth, he's got history, he's got motivation, and he's sympathetic. You can sympathize with what he has as his goals. Alright? Basically with Killmonger, it's that he sees all this wealth, all this technology in Wakanda that could be benefiting all the black people of the diaspora, and he sees that and he's like, why aren't you helping us all out? Why are you just keeping to yourselves? Alright? There's like that kind of logic makes a lot of sense, and that's why you can sympathize with this character. In a lot of ways, and honestly, in a lot of ways, you could argue he's a hero. But what makes him a villain is his methods. He has that mentality of he believes the ends justify the means. That's what makes him the villain, the antagonist. But his goals do have a noble quality, alright? And in a lot of ways, Killmonger becomes T'Challa's teacher, alright? T'Challa starts off this film not being as aware of what's happening in the world. Killmonger opens up his eyes to the truth, alright? So, and by the end of the film, the kind of character arc that T'Challa goes through is that he learns from this man we know as Killmonger. And he basically winds up agreeing with Killmonger in his end goals, and to an extent. Basically, T'Challa realizes that Killmonger is correct, and that he does have some responsibility to help out the peoples of the diaspora. And at the end of the film, you see him doing just that, helping out the people of the diaspora in peaceful, progressive ways, building infrastructure and stuff like that. And see, that's the difference between Killmonger and T'Challa, though, because Killmonger, he wanted to like send weaponry to his fellow peoples of the diaspora to rise up against their oppressors. And T'Challa obviously is like, I want to help the people of the diaspora, but in peaceful ways, not in warlike ways like Killmonger was trying to do. And Killmonger's actions not only affect T'Challa, but affect everyone else. Another good example of that is Okoye. That chick was awesome. And I wanted to see, like, walking into this movie, I was expecting Lupita Nyong'o to have similar badass scenes like that. Her character was good, don't get me wrong, but of the female characters, Okoye, I believe, stole the show, so to speak. She did some crazy cool stuff. But yeah, what was I saying? So yeah, her character arc was initiated by Killmonger's, in that you saw her struggle with loyalty to country and loyalty to what is right, you know? So you saw that struggle within her, which we wouldn't have seen without the villain. And the list goes on. That dude from Get Out, I can't remember his character name, but the dude from Get Out, he also had his character arc dependent on Killmonger's actions, you know? The fact that he was T'Challa's like right hand man, but like he saw in Killmonger a man who could lead in a way that made more sense to him. So he went ahead and followed Killmonger. Like I said, there's just so much growth and depth to all the characters. I loved Shuri. She was awesome. Very funny character. I liked her more in this than in that old Netflix cartoon. I never got to watch the whole Netflix cartoon of Black Panther because they took it off the streaming service before I got a chance to finish it. But like, if I remember correctly, she was kind of like a jealous type in the cartoon, whereas in this, she's more lovable and charismatic. So I do like what they did with Shuri. M'Baku was awesome. I loved M'Baku. M'Baku, another character who had a great character arc, and again, it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the actions of Killmonger. If it wasn't for the actions of Killmonger, you wouldn't have seen M'Baku's character arc. And yeah, you just see him initially, just seems like this brutish type dude, but no, he's got a whole lot more going on, you know. And he's funny like Shuri too, and I appreciate some good old comic relief. And like that scene between him and T'Challa, refuses to help out. But at the end of the day, he's like, no, you know what? We gotta do something, and he does come at the nick of time to help out, you know. M'Baku's cool because he's a Vegeta type character. Get that reference. They also, another character they go in more depth with is T'Chaka. They didn't exactly do it the way I was thinking, but that's fine. I mean, obviously they're gonna do it differently. But yeah, I liked what they did with T'Chaka. It made him a very complex character, and it also helped to show how T'Challa would be a different king from his father, showing how T'Challa is an individual who has, grown and seen the world. And again, that's a lot of that change in his character was brought about by Killmonger, which is why Killmonger is such a great antagonist. The other villain is Claw, Ulysses Claw. He doesn't really, unless I'm missing something, he doesn't really have a character arc, but his character had a lot of personality, and they did him really well. So yeah, there was only like two things in the film that I was like, I don't know about that. One of them we'll discuss when we talk about the educational stuff. But the other thing is those rhinos. When I saw the rhino at the start, I was like, I don't know about that CG. I mean, couldn't they just cast an actual rhino? I mean, though later on in the film, you see what they do with the rhinos, and then you're like, oh, okay, alright, I see why you needed to have CG rhinos. Fair enough. But, I don't know, just kind of feel like those rhinos could have looked a little more realistic. I think I've heard some other people talk about there being some other issues with the CG. I honestly didn't really notice. It was only with those rhinos for me. But speaking of which, let's get into some criticisms that I've heard. Because honestly, I don't really have too many criticisms of this movie. I think it was pretty much on point. I mean, that's the reason why I was saying it was so good. So I remember hearing one person saying in a review that she wasn't digging how, this very advanced country just is being ruled by an absolute monarchy. And, obviously, real world, you wouldn't want an absolute monarchy, but this is fiction, it's not a big deal. I'm pretty interested in politics myself, so obviously, I'm no fan of, someone having absolute power, so I get that. But again, this is a fictional film. I mean, we can suspend our disbelief. I mean, no one complains about the absolute monarchies in, Disney films. Oh, why are we following the story of this princess? Who cares? She's privileged, No one questions the absolute monarchy in any other Disney film. It's just fictional. It's not a big deal, That said, a lot of African kings don't actually have an absolute monarchy. Monarchy in Africa is more complicated than it is in Europe. Oh, someone also said that that Black Panther is too perfect, he doesn't have enough character flaws to be what's the word I'm looking for? To be relatable. But again, I don't believe that's true. You definitely see some character flaws. I mean, just look at that scene where Okoye is don't freeze, and he's like, I never freeze. And what happened? He hesitates in the middle of that battle, and then the girls make fun of him for it. So there's a cute little scene, and that does highlight, a flaw of his. A more pronounced and important character flaw, of course, being that he starts off with this sort of somewhat naivete about the world, and it's not until Killmonger opens his eyes that he's like, oh, this guy's got a point. Maybe I should be doing something else for my brothers and sisters of the diaspora, So he has character flaws, okay? So that criticism, I believe, is incorrect. So the biggest criticism I think I saw was this one guy was saying that the movie vilified Pan-Africanism because Killmonger had these Pan-African views and he happens to be the antagonist. But the reason why I think that's wrong is because I don't think they were vilifying his ideas. They were vilifying his actions because, again, like I said, he has this whole idea of the ends justify the means. So the good ideas that he has, the good ideas of Killmonger, basically get transferred to T'Challa. T'Challa learns a lot from Killmonger. He doesn't adopt his ideas wholesale, but he does learn from Killmonger. And so those Pan-African ideals that Killmonger had of helping the peoples, the diaspora, those live on in T'Challa. So I do not think they vilified those ideas. So that's why I think that argument is not correct. But I do understand why that one particular reviewer was thinking that. And it's a good thing. It is actually a very good thing that they made Killmonger so complex and so likable and full of a number of ideas that were actually good, because that's what made him the greatest Marvel antagonist we've ever seen. I mean, I shed a tear for Killmonger in some of those scenes, man. I mean, that movie got emotional. That movie got emotional, man. So one last argument that I saw that was criticizing the Black Panther movie was this criticism of the UN speech. Someone was saying that because T'Challa was opening up Wakanda to the world, that leaves them vulnerable to be exploited, like how other African nations have been exploited. So when I heard that, I was like, that's a sensible argument. That is a sensible argument. I'll have to think about that. So I did. And I took a while to think about it, and I think that Wakanda would not be exploited because Wakanda, you gotta understand, is the most powerful nation, not just in Africa but in the world, pretty much. Its technology is super advanced. So when they go to the UN, when T'Challa sits at that negotiation table, he's the one that has the upper hand, okay? Not some other nation. So the way I see it is that T'Challa is opening up his country because, again, he wants to help out people of the diaspora, remember? So when he goes to that negotiation table with other countries, you go up to America and say, America, if you want some of this vibranium, there's certain goals that your country is going to have to meet in order for us to provide you with our technology. So, for example, he could say, to get some of this vibranium, you have to end the racist voter ID laws in your country, alright, that make it harder for black people to vote. You gotta, make sure that people of all races and genders are paid equally in your country. And you have to fire racist police officers and put in some sort of program to make sure we reduce the possibilities of police brutality and all that sort of stuff. So there are certain things that he can demand from countries that will improve the lives of black people in other countries. And his negotiating chip for all this is that vibranium. Okay? So, having said all that, that's why I'm pretty sure he wouldn't be exploited. You can't exploit Wakanda. Wakanda's too powerful. What are you going to do against Wakanda? You ain't going to do shit against Wakanda. Another thing to keep in mind about that UN scene is that it's also talking against the right-wing idea of isolationism. Okay? So it is this politically informed idea that we should, help out others. And, I thought that was a great thing because we do have this issue of isolationism, especially in my own country, but in other countries as well. And it's not a good thing, We have to be more global as a society. We need to help other people. We need to help immigrants. We need to help the world, okay? So yeah, I saw that as a liberal, progressive message, and I was totally behind that. As for why they might not have laid out all these very specific things I just mentioned, it's because it's a movie, and you can't be taking so much time out of a movie to talk that much politics. I mean, it'll just get boring. You gotta gently pepper in the politics. You know what I'm saying? Because I like the political stuff, but even I know that if they went too heavy-handed with it, it's not going to make for a good movie. So yeah, that's that. So having said all that, I hope you get better appreciation for that UN scene now. And also, let's not forget that this is a comic book movie. It's a superhero film, and it's going to tie into the Avengers, and Black Panther is going to be an important part in that next Avengers movie. So yeah, that's also part of the reason why he opened up and let the world know who he was and who his country is. Alright, so let's talk about some of the educational type stuff. There's quite a few cultural references in this film, and today we're going to talk about the stuff that I saw in the movie that I couldn't already see in the trailer. If you want to know more, check out those trailer analyses that I did. There was a lot, and like I said in a previous video, I'm gonna need the physical copy of the movie, DVD or Blu-ray, to really break down every little detail. So look forward to that when that comes. But so when I went to the movie, of course, I wanted to just enjoy it. So I didn't come in with like a notepad or anything like that. I just sat down and enjoyed the film. But after some hours after I got home, I was like, alright, I should write down some notes, make sure I don't forget some of the things I'm pretty sure I saw. So I'm pretty sure I saw a woman who looked like a himbo woman. Saw a dude with like a Maasai headdress. What else did I see? I saw some woman wearing those beautiful Fulani earrings. Those are really cool. I not only heard but saw a talking drum during that waterfall scene. And there was another drum there. I don't know if it's the exact same kind of drum that I was talking about in that previous video of mine. It looks pretty similar. structurally speaking, maybe not artistically, but structurally speaking. And there was tons. There was plenty of African instrumentation in that film. I'm not a musician, so I can't, like, just by hearing these things say, oh, that's this, that's this, that's this. Like, I'm an art guy, a visual artist, so I don't got the kind of ear to say, oh, that's definitely that's definitely this instrument, and that's definitely this instrument. But I can tell you that the music was on point. Obviously, not every song in it was like super African sounding, but there was a lot of African sounding music in this film, and it was beautiful. It was great. Even in the credits, man, stick around for those credits, because they got some good songs in those credits. There was like a split second. I'm pretty sure I saw some woman who had a dress that had Quelle masks, images of Quelle masks on her dress. It was like a split second. And it was like, is that what I think it is? So probably, but again, you know, that's why I need that physical disc, so I can pause and rewind scenes and all that stuff. For those of you who saw my previous video, I was talking about how it would be cool if there was a funeral ritual for T'Chaka that involved Dogon masquerading. Now, they didn't have that, but in the museum they did have a Dogon Kanaga mask. So a Dogon mask was in the film, it just wasn't danced, that's all. But yeah, I was happy to see. That Kanaga mask in there. Now, but speaking of that museum scene, so alright, the curator comes by, identifies one mask as being Benin, and it's like, of course, you know, it's obviously Benin. But then she points to this one mask, which I was pretty certain is a Yahori mask from the Ivory Coast. She said that it was an Asante, or did she say Ashanti? Either way, it's the same people. An Asante mask from Ghana. And I was taken aback for a second. I was like, what? Come on now. I don't think that don't compute. Am I in the wrong? Or did they mess up? And that was cycling the back of my head for a long time in the film, as you can imagine. Now, if you would like to see my evidence for why I believe this is a Yahori mask, you can check the links in the description of this video. But oh wait, I don't need a website, 'cause I got a book, son! Book confirmed! The best kind of confirmed! But yeah, there will be links in the description. But in the meantime, how about I show you something? Another book! Book confirmed! I grant you that this one doesn't have horns, but it's still the same basic style of the Ori, or Yohori. I'm not always that great with pronunciations, but I am pretty good at research. Anyway, double book confirmed! One more thing I'd like to share with you all is that in the very back of this book, there's another similar looking mask, and the author of this book, an African art expert, says that it could be either Yahori or Bale in terms of style. And the reason why I like pointing that out is because that shows that even African art experts can have their moments of uncertainty. And that's comforting to know that someone who knows more about Africa than I do can be unsure sometimes, you know? Because identifying artwork can be hard work. Alrighty, let's get back to the other part of the video. But yeah, I got home. I was like, there's no way that's Asante. But yeah, I went home, looked through my books, scoured the internet. Didn't find nothing. Didn't find nothing. I feel like they made a mistake there. Because, like, I mean, look at that. I'll show you on screen right now some Asante art. Beautiful stuff, isn't it? But that said, as far as I'm aware, the Asante are not known for masks, you know. But they do have some sculptures of faces, certainly. There's this beautiful type of gold head pendant that they make, and I'll show that on screen. And that's awesome. It also doesn't look a thing like that mask she pointed out. What it does look like is a Yahori mask. At least to me. Maybe a little bit Guru, maybe a little bit Bale. Those three people are all neighbors of each other, so it makes sense. But I don't think it's Bale. I feel like it's Yahori. And that's from the Ivory Coast. Now granted, the Ivory Coast is neighbors to Ghana. I mean, maybe there's like some rare example out there of an Asante artist who maybe borrowed some ideas from their neighbors in the Ivory Coast and sculpted a similar mask. That's possible. There's plenty of examples where nearby African peoples will exchange cultural ideas and art and all of that. So for that reason, I'm not going to say that Black Panther is wrong, but at the same time, I don't see any proof of that anywhere being an Asante mask. Earlier, I'm sure you heard me say that the Asante are not known for masks. Now, I have a feeling that someone is going to Google search Asante masks, and they're going to show me some tourist art, some modern tourist art. And I don't hate on modern tourist art. It's fine. Looks good. But you need to know that there's a difference between traditional African art and the stuff that's meant to be made to sell to tourists. Okay? The Asante have tons and tons of beautiful artwork. But I'm just saying that from what I've seen in books and from what I've seen online, they don't traditionally make masks. Speaking of the differences between traditional art and tourist art, I'm thinking that I'll also do another video at some point showing you how to better research things like this online. So we might do a video like that in the future, okay? Now, having said all that, I just want you all to know that I'm not trying to claim that I know everything about the Asante. I certainly don't. And I certainly don't claim to know everything about Africa. No. There's plenty of stuff I don't know, plenty of things I still need to learn. Okay? Only an ignorant person would claim to know everything. It's probably worth mentioning that out of the over 100 countries that have tuned in to my channel, Red Spirit Mask, Ghana happens to be 7th among the countries that have watched this channel. So I do have quite a few viewers from Ghana. So I'll just throw out a question to my viewers from Ghana, if you're watching this particular video, have you seen a mask that looks like this from the Asante? And if so, please provide a link to a credible website, as proof of that, because I would love to see it, because Red Spirit Mask, this channel, is dedicated to the truth of Africa. So please let me know. In the meantime, I'm going to continue to go with my opinion, which is that this mask is a Yohori mask, because from the masks that I've seen in Africa, that's the closest thing I see. So I think this is from Côte d'Ivoire, or the Ivory Coast for that matter. And I do actually get some viewership from Côte d'Ivoire, so same I guess sort of question to my viewers from Côte d'Ivoire. Can you confirm, I guess? I mean, I've already kind of confirmed it, I feel like, because I have like evidence to show that this thing looks a lot like a Yohori mask. So I feel like it's from Côte d'Ivoire. But yeah, if you can help to confirm or deny that, But yeah, I always try my best to give you guys the truth of Africa. Let's get back to film observations. Another thing I can add is I'm pretty sure I saw some Sudano-Sahelian architecture, like the style we see in Mali. Like more of it. I know we saw it in the trailer, but I'm saying I'm pretty sure I saw more of that in the final film. And there was a number of other things. Like there was this one scene where there was like these I think 3 masks in the background somewhere, but the camera was kind of blurry, and I was like, why'd they blur it? I don't know, but maybe once we get that physical disc, I'll be able to like discern past that blurriness. There's gonna be a lot of stuff that I'm gonna need that disc to see, like all the details. So once we get that, I'll of course do another analysis of this movie. So I hope you look forward to that. Alrighty, my friends. Final thoughts. For all the things I've pointed out, I believe that this is the best Marvel movie. And I'm including stuff that's even outside the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like X-Men, Spider-Man, Blade, all that. Blade started off this trend of Marvel movies, of these big Marvel movies. And I'm hoping that Black Panther starts a new trend of opening up Hollywood to the possibilities of African themed movies. That'd be awesome. Go watch this film, man. You'll laugh, you'll cry. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, and I hope that when people see this movie, they'll also start to be more interested in African culture in general. That's my hope. And I hope it leads to more African projects like it. Alright. Thank you. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, my friends. And, yeah, we'll have more. We will have more. And by the way, I picked up a little souvenir after I watched the film. Got a graphic novel of the Black Panther, and we will show that off in a future video.